Good morning. I'm Gianni the Greek coming to you live straight from Las Vegas. It's Monday, June 24th. Here with Bet with Ace. We got a lot to get to. We got a game 7 in NHL. We got Major League Baseball. I got a ton of tennis that I even passed along. So we'll dive right in. Final week of June, where we will have 6 months of work in the books. We've had a real tough stretch of late, but over the last couple days, we've turned that around in a big way. Now, before we move forward, we always have to look backwards. Transparency first and foremost. You cannot be certain, you cannot conclude that any source of information, whether they're on the internet, whether they're on social media, whether they're on here on YouTube, is positive EV information unless they are willing to share with you a statistically significant sample size, which means at least their last 1,000 bets, the results of their last 1,000 bets. If they're not willing to do that, unless they just started betting the last couple weeks, then you already know their negative lifetime earnings, their negative results. No one's going to hide the fact that they're able to win over their last 1,000 bets over the last 365 days. So if you don't get an answer to your question, you already got an answer to your question. That much I can promise you. So with that out of the way, I tell you when I win, I tell you when I lose. And the whole point of the Steam Room was just that. I didn't want subscribers to dive in or try to time me when they wanted to, or when they saw I was hot and end up losing money when they shouldn't. So I decided and got with Why'd You Talk and created a service, a subscription, a platform, call it what you will, where I partner with my subscribers over the course of a year to try to beat these books together. And every week, every single week, I have to face them. And they get to ask as many questions as they want. I'm on there for about an hour, sometimes even 2 hours. And we go over our money management. We go over our results to date, our results for the last small sample size, big sample size, since everything. We go deep so that we know where we stand, we know where we should be, and we know what to expect moving forward. My number one goal was to ensure that if someone's going to take the chance to profit from the sports betting market using my information, that I put them in the best position to profit from it. And that's what the Steam Room has allowed me to do. Because every single week, like I said, win or lose, I'm in there facing the people that trust me to help them turn a profit. As you know, last 3 days, we're sitting number one, obviously. Picked up 36 units. No, it's the last 7 days we're sitting number one. Last 3 days, let's see the last 3 days. That should be even funnier. All right, last 3 days, we picked up 57 units. See how that works? See how that works? You don't know when the market's going to give it to you. That's why you can't time it. We went from getting crushed to now being number one over the last 3 days, number one over the last 7 days. That's what it means to be a professional winning sports bettor. That you just keep rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, and trust in the long-term results. That with your edge, if you manage risk correctly, you're a mathematical certainty to turn a profit. That's correct. With the information that I have access to and the bets that we make, we are a lock to beat the books every single year. We're the favorites, at least, every single year to beat the books as long as we manage our risk correctly. And that's exactly what we're doing. Now, over the last 3 days, I have a 38% ROI. 38% ROI on 51 bets. That's not sustainable. It's just not. I'm not going to hit 72% on 51, on 500 bets, on 1,000 bets. That's the problem with short-term results. But they look so sexy. If you market them to unassuming bettors, they're going to dive all over it. Right now, I can say the last 7 days, I've given out 90 plus bets. We're up 36 units, almost 15% ROI. What are you waiting for? Dude, that's the packages. I could push so many packages, but I'm looking for this. This is what I'm looking for. The guy that wants to join and partner with me 365, that really wants to do this for real, so that they see the ebbs and flows and what it takes to actually do this and be in that 0.5%. that is profitable doing it and not doing it to waste money, lose money over and over. It gets old, don't it? And here we are, our last 365 days, back up 150 units, back up 1.5% ROI. And again, we're now up to what, 3,400 bets over the last 365 days. You see the big picture? When in doubt, zoom out. That's what I care about. The guys that have been with me over the last year, how are they doing? You have been for a week, a month. I can't time that. That's not on me. That's on you. These guys, 365. Them, I got to make sure they have those 140 plus, 50 plus units in their pockets so we could get it to 200, to 300, to 500, like I did. I told them I will take you from $10 to 50 to 100 to 500. Just like I went from 100 to 500 to 1,000 to 500. Just like that. So let's get to the betting action now that you know where we stand. Real quickly. You know, there's the NHL finals tonight. I was sitting on my hands, was not going to get involved. And then a question came across about that game 5. And when I looked at the adjusted series line and thought in my head what price would be in game 6 and game 7, it made sense that I would do a progression and bet against Edmonton winning 3 straight. Now, I wasn't even going to get involved, but a bet jumps out at you, you take it. Well, right now, the only thing I can do as far as wager talk goes is eliminate some of the loss, because I think on that bet, we're probably down 7-8 units. Bet losing in game 5, losing game 6. I told you I'm doubling up. I'm progressing. I am prepared to lose 15 units on this one to bet against they win 3 straight. And even though I could probably I'll probably put a 4% or 5% tonight on Florida, I'll be betting personally myself a little bit more, as you know. Now, with that said, because I want you to manage your own risk correctly, it's a coin flip right now, at least historically. Here's what we know. Jimmy two-time, got to add that in there. I love the guy who notices. Love the guys who notice. All right, here's what we know. 6 times in the NHL finals has a series broken out exactly like this, where the first team, the home team for the series, won the first 3 games and then lost game 5 and game 6. In game 7, it's 3-3. It's 50-50. The home ice does not really matter in NHL finals, but in NHL playoffs, excuse me. This has never happened in the finals. Forgive me. This has never happened in the finals where the home team for the series won 3 straight, then lost game 5 and 6. That's never happened. It's happened in the playoffs 6 times, NHL playoffs, only 6 times. And it's 3-3 in game 7. In other sports, all rounds, it's happened 9 times. So all other sports that are 7-game series, it's only happened 9 times. 9 times. In that case, the home team does win 2 out of 3 times. They're 6-3. But it's been twice only in the finals, NHL finals. In all round finals, excuse me. And there it's 1-0. So it rarely happens in a finals where a home team in any sport will win 3 straight, then lose back to back. So we're in coin flip territory, at least historically. We're in coin flip territory. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. You know, game 7s, they're always fun. But you know where my money's going to be. It's going to be on Florida. Right now, it's about -105. Now, let me get you some baseball action before we dive into these questions. Let me see what I'm going to put you on. Let's see what I'll put you on for today. And like I said, I choose a handful of premium plays to give here. What I can promise you is over a statistically significant sample size, I'll do exactly what I've done in the past, and that's turn a profit for you. Can't guarantee anything in the short term because of the randomness that's involved. But whether you follow, fade, or ignore, I'm always on your side. I want you to cash them, not trash them. So let's start off with game 909, 910, Cleveland, Baltimore. I think first game of the day. We're going to go under 8.5 and under 8. Under 8.5, under 8, Cleveland, Baltimore. And then let's go. I'll give you one more. All right, we're going to go 924. Let's go aside this time because we bet the first 5 and the game. So we bet Milwaukee money line for the game up to about I'm comfortable with that, up to about minus 170. And then Milwaukee first 5, same thing, about 175 there, give it an extra 5 cents. And we also laid a half a run at about minus 110, minus 115. So money line for the game, split the first 5 game between money line and the run line. There's the Major League Baseball bet for you, and also under in Cleveland, Baltimore. Already going to have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 10 baseball bets already for my subscribers. But you could start off the week with some of those. I like those a lot. From today, that's probably the strongest. I like the Angels too. I like the Angels. That line's moving a little against me. Just got to confirm a little work. But if I confirm that there isn't too much resistance, yeah, you may see LA Angels to subscribers as well. Ace in the place. Let's get to some of these questions. All right. Interplace 55. One of your guys from the steam room. Thank you. Thank you so much for your trust. Thank you. I was wondering what would happen if you'd find the stale line, like for Potapova. I found it at minus 145. So I made the decision to bump up the bet to a 4%. Is raising your bet advisable to do depending on your personal risk tolerance? Because your edge would be greater because of it. Let me look what that line was on Potapova before I just say so. On the surface, yes, absolutely. You find a rogue line, an off line that is a better than what I locked it in. Obviously, your edge is going to be greater, which means you could take a little bigger bet. You can make a little bigger bet. Okay, let's look at Potapova. Potapova minus 160. So I laid minus 160. You were able to get minus 145. Let's just do it real quickly because this is the stuff that's important. This is what really matters. So I laid minus 160, right? The break even for a minus 160 is exactly 61.5%. 61.5%. You laid 145. You laid the break even there is 59.2. So you got about 2.5% edge over them just based on the fact that the wise guys are willing to lay minus 160, which means it'll probably go to 170 or 175. You're only laying 145. So even against just what we got down at, let alone where it's going to close, you have over 2% edge. Yes, I would increase bet size. Maybe if I give out a 3% play, which is 0.75 of 3%, I would go 1%. Like make it a 4% play that, we bet 0.25, 1%. Why? Because we don't want to go broke. I won't take time in this video talking about money management and how we manage risk in the blueprint, because I've done it just about every single day. Just watch any of the past videos, watch the first 5 to 6 minutes, and I've explained very carefully how I've been able to profit 8 of the last 9 years, while I'm going to make it how I'm going to make it 9 of 10 by being up when December 31st rolls around. And the reason we've been able to do that is simply having access to winning information, but more importantly, managing our risk correctly, bet sizing correctly in relation to our bankroll so that we keep our risk of ruin manageable. That's the goal. We want our risk of ruin as low as possible so that we don't get ruined. Then we could have a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday like we did and actually be a lot around betting it to profit from it. If you got blown out by Thursday, you got liquidated, it's gone. If you capitulated and you left me, went across the street to someone else trying to time them because they're 5-0 the last 2 days and capitulated, that's what happens when you capitulate. We see it in the market all the time. You're about to see it happen to Bitcoin right now. I told you it's going down to 61. There's going to be resistance at 61. If it breaks through 61 and it confirms below 60, we're going, I'll tell you now where we're going. It's not rocket science. The charts tell us everything we need to know. We're going to 56. If we confirm below 60,800, which we're just about there on the daily, we've confirmed on the hourly. It's already confirmed. The breakdown's confirmed on the hourly. So on the hourly, we're pretty much confirmed that next stop is below 60. But let's look at our longer term, our daily. And I would say, yeah, next stop, 56,100. The next bounce, 56,100, 56,200. And then that next big resistance, though, that's just a fib line. That you'll get a bounce, a little bounces, couple bounces. It may even bounce around there for a while before it takes another leg down. But the big test is going to be 50,000. 50,000 will be the big test. The guys that started buying at 50, that rode it up to 70 and didn't sell, that would have been a 40% increase on their capital. That didn't sell. Are they now going to say, fuck it? Do I want to wait another year and have it go down even more, or then maybe go back up? Are they going to dump too? Are those that bought at 70, at 65, that believed it's going to 100 and are down 30%? Are they going to say, let me get out now? I'm bleeding before I lose 50%, 70% of my money? That's what happens. That's what happens. The panic, just like the fear of missing out on the way up, the panic selling on the way down. They panic sell on the way down. And that's what starts to happen. Everyone talking about holding, having those, that conviction. You see how quickly people dump that shit. The people that are talking about how much they believe in the future of crypto and Bitcoin. Watch how quickly they dump that shit when you start seeing your money actually every day. You're waking up and there's less of it. It happened to me. I was telling my girl the story this morning. How I woke up one day, was a millionaire. 3 days later, I wasn't. A week later, I was a millionaire. 5 days later, I wasn't. A week later, I had a couple more, multiple million because of crypto. A month later, I didn't. I waited for that to come back and never did. Those are paper gains. They mean nothing. Until you cash out, they're paper gains. So that's why I always say, you got to understand, are you a trader or are you an investor? Know your personality, know your risk tolerance, and play to your strengths. Play to your strengths always. Not everyone's cut out to trade. Not everyone's cut out to invest long term. You need to know what you're built for and take advantage of that. That way you're investing from a position of strength. So yes. Enter. That's a long way of saying I would increase my bet because I'm now certain I'm getting the best of it. I was getting the best of it at 160. At 145, I'm getting even more the best of it. That's how I actually decide whether it's going to be a 3%, 4%, 5% play. What is the difference between the implied win probability that I believe it is and what the market reflection is? The further we're away from each other, the bigger my bet's going to be. Great question. Jenny Art. Genyart. If that has anything to do with art, I'm a fan. You know that. I don't have cash. I'm a little cash poor right now because I'm trying to save any cash I have. Even like I was just telling my girl, I'm going to send over some through Cash App to put into Coinbase because they're giving 5.5%. And I'm trying to stockpile cash for what's coming. So once the dump comes, we want to be there. We have another, I'm riding gold up a little higher, riding those commodities up a little higher, and probably going to even buy more in August. But by end of the August, probably end of September, I'll be out of mostly everything. And I'll just be waiting for the end of the year damage. And that's why it's stockpiling cash right now. Bitcoin below 61,000. Oh boy. Let's look real quickly. Wheat came down to that almost 520 mark. See how it almost touched that line we talked about? Wow. Beautiful thing. When it does what you expected. Lithium still dancing around that 39 range. Will it get down to 36 so we could buy more? Probably not. Uranium still on that trend line. Right now, I tell you, anything at $40, $50, you could buy. Anything at $50, you could buy a little more for the next leg up. Which should get us up to, we should hit that double top at about 60. So from 50 to 60, that's about 20% return on investment we should be looking for here with our uranium. I already made that on uranium going earlier from 35 up to like 40 something. Yeah, commodities, baby. But again, I'm a trader. I'm in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. I'm not holding long. But now that's why I got my girl doing that. Let's go. Next. Okay, thank you for helping all of us. Are you free plays, mostly 1 or 2% plays, which would 0.25, 0.50? I appreciate your time. No, sir. No, sir. Great question. Great question. I almost always give what the rating is unless I forget. I don't think I've ever given a 2% play on here unless it was where I split the money line and the run line, where I put 2% on the money line, 2% on the run line. So that's 0.50 money line, 0.50 run line. So it's a full percent but broken down in the first 5 or 40 game. I'm always giving 3 and 4% plays here. The ones I gave today, exact same thing, 3-4% plays. Right now, that's been about the average, and I'm confident staying there unless we get something smaller or something that's not as readily available, some props that aren't as readily available that I know I'd be lying. If I said, oh, this is a 5% play, no one's going to be able to bet. I won't be able to bet 5 dimes, which is what I bet on a 5% play. So I'd be lying to you and lying to myself. I wouldn't do that. But rest assured, you're getting gold. You get gold. And I'll even tell you if it's not stuff that's premium. Like if it's, I shared stuff from other traders. I do that all the time. So that you could confirm yourself. But yeah, I've been giving all 3s and 4s to you guys. On Saturday, I actually gave 4% plays, 2-3% plays in MMA, and then I believe a 4% play in Major League Baseball and a 3% play. So yeah, I listen, if you guys keep giving me support, you go down there and just do the one thing I asked, just smash that like button so that I could see it continuing to grow and the algorithm pushing our stuff. Like if you could smash that like button, if you could comment, ask a question, if you can share this, that's where you get the most bang for my buck. Share this. If you're doing me a huge favor and I want to repay you. That's just how it is. Like that's the kind of person I am. If you're taking the time to do right by me, I'm going to do right by you. And I'm not going to give you free plays and leans and 1% plays. When I have a shitload of 3s and 4s, I'm going to give you gold. I'm going to give you gold. I'm not here to try to get you to, ooh, if you pay me, you'll get a better play, a stronger play, but you have to pay me. This is my free content, or this is my 1 and 2%, but you want to be a VIP, you want to be a platinum guy. Oh, you got to go to wagetalk.com and you got to buy this. No. I don't do that shit, dude. I told you, I stopped doing that shit. I broke into the industry doing that nonsense, and I hate myself for it. And this is almost my penance of having to do right by the people. When I got into this industry, like I said, I broke in with an unscrupulous company that was pushing games of the year and actually putting up games of the year for me before I even had a play. Like telling me, hey, you got a game of the year today in college football Saturday. Okay, I'll find it. Honestly, I was just too young and immature, and also in a place for financially, it was like, oh, I just need to make money and get paid. To where I was able to overlook the fact that this is nonsense. This is bullshit. We're fucking these people. Like, even if I lose, at least if I really try and do right by them, that's all you could do. Like, there's a lot of cappers out there that just can't win. Like, they're trying, they're putting in the work, they're studying, they're watching games, they're handicapping every day. They just haven't found the formula. They haven't figured out the formula yet, and that's different. But if you're just taking shots at customers, trying to upgrade them, trying to I won 3 days in a row, so today I should have a 5% on the NHL Game 7, right? It's automatic. I should have a 5% play, right? I'm hot. People are going to look. What are they going to see when they go to the Wager Talk buy page? Greek Gambler, #1 last 3 days. Greek Gambler, #1 last 7 days. Greek Gambler, number 1 or 2 last 365 days. So shit, I should have a 5% play today. I'll sell a couple dimes. No, dude. No. Because the reason I would make it a 5% play is because I did the progression, not because it warrants it on Game 7. So I would just be hustling people. No. That's why I promise you, Jenny Arndt, I promise you. If it's just a lean or anything like that, I'll let you know. Otherwise, you're getting premium shit. All right. Breed dash RV6KT. Okay. Oh, great question. Thank you for asking. Breed, this is the best question today. Best question today. Thank you. See, my girl prints these out. I don't even know what they are before I sit down. Why didn't you just rebuild the UFC parlay? There was no reason not to. Great question. Great question. Please don't take offense. Just like I say, I don't take anything personally. I have very thick skin. And more importantly, I know that our goals are aligned. My goal is to help you become a profitable sports bettor. It took me a very long time to get there. In fact, I admitted that I was a losing sports bettor for a long time. I've admitted to you that with access to winning information, I was a runner on the strip. I managed to lose multiple bankrolls because I didn't know how to manage risk correctly. So I'm being honest with you. So please don't ever feel disrespected if I disagree with your question or a statement or a comment. But I disagree very strongly here, Breed. Here's why. Because you're being 100% result oriented. You're asking, why didn't I rebuild that parlay after losing the first bet when the next 5 won? Why didn't I just put it in a 5-fight parlay? And then if that next one lost, just make it a 4-fighter parlay. Here's why. Because you're being 100% short-term thinking and result oriented. You're not talking about making a good bet. You're talking about based on the results, it would have been a good bet. We don't know the results. You're telling me this after it happened. What if I did that last week? Or what if I did that the last 3 weeks? When I said right now I'm number 1 in MMA. I've had such a great 2024. Anyone that's been following me in MMA in 2024, Wager Talk has crushed it. Anyone that's followed me on the shows that I do, UFC on the Line and the Gambler's Perspective, I've destroyed it. ROI's off the charts. Now, with that said, I lost 2 straight weekends in a row where I got crushed. What if I rebuilt it on those? How much would I have lost on the parlays? See, it sounds like a great idea. Why didn't I do that? I would have hit a 5-fighter parlay. Yeah, but what about all the other times when I lost the first one, then lost the second one? Okay, then I started with the third one. I win 2. Oh, that one loses, but I got 3 more. Then I do another parlay. So how many parlays am I going to put in each night? And just because this one happened to win, that's the right move? No. Remember, someone's hitting a number on roulette right now. Right now, someone's getting paid 35 to 1 right down the street from where I live. And that's the worst bet you could have made. Why? Because there's 38 numbers on a roulette wheel. We all know that. So they should be getting paid 38 to 1 at minimum, just to break even at 38 to 1. For them to have the edge, for us to say, dude, you made a great bet, they got to get paid 39 to 1, 40 to 1. They didn't. They got paid 35 to 1. So was it a great bet just because they won? Of course not. It's still a terrible bet. And if they stay there and keep making it, they're going to go broke. If I stayed there and keep making parlays, I'm going to go broke. We already know that the average hold, we know not the average, we know the exact hold on a lay-in minus 110 to win 100 is 4.5%. So the sportsbook has almost a 5% edge before we place a bet. So for every $100 we bet, they're going to make $5 off us. That's already built into their business plan. On parlays, that's over 40%. So they expect to make over $40 on us, not over $5 on us, over 40 on parlays. So they're expecting to make 8 to 10 times more. That's how much greater of an edge they have on us. So why would I want to make even more parlays? If anything, I want to make less or none at all, especially 4, 5, 6-fighter parlays. What does the winning the first fight have to do with winning the co-main event? How are they correlated? If this guy wins here, that guy should win there? Of course not. They're not correlated. So we already know that my parlay is a bad bet because they're not correlated. We also know that I have to place it at the exact time at the exact property. And so no line shopping? So again, we already know before even placing it that they're just bad bets. So now we're just trying to get lucky. I'm not going to invest my capital to get lucky. Like right now, I invest in art. I invest in gold. I'm looking this year to buy rental properties with my girl. I want sure things. I don't want to gamble my capital. And parlays is gambling my capital. And asking that's the best. He even followed up, and this, please don't take this as a knock, sir. Please, please, please. He even said, there's no reason not to. I could give you 1,000 reasons not to. I can't give you one why I should have, other than I won. I ended up winning that day, which you won't know that until the day's over. Again, that's being 100% result oriented. That's coming to a conclusion that you placed a bad bet because it lost and you placed a good bet because it won. Nothing could be further from the truth. Or thinking that getting plus 150 means it's a value bet, but laying minus 150 is not value. When value means what's the price compared to the implied price. So minus 1,000 could be a value bet if the true odds are minus 2,000. Same thing here. There is absolutely no way that I placed a good bet parlaying anything on UFC last Saturday. In fact, the 250 that almost turned into 12,000 was me pissing money away. I probably should have given that to charity. I probably should have put that to better use. But I always say, I'm not in this by accident. I have some gamble in me. And because of that, I like to take my shots as well. And that's my little gamble. I bet 1,000 to 5,000. My average bet is about 3,000 to 4,000 per play. I had 7 plays, I believe, on Saturday's UFC. 7 times, we'll say, and with the juice, we'll say 4,000 average. I had 28, close to 30,000 in action and a $250 parlay. That was it. And I even felt guilty about that. And I wasn't going to bet more. No, sir. No, sir. I work way too hard to try to beat the books, to give it away to them on parlays. I'd be wiping out any advantage I have, any edge I have, if I was willing to do that, to redo a parlay when the first leg lost every time. There's so many times I would never hit a parlay like doing that. Or you'll hit the last 3 and hit a 3-teamer, and you already did 6 of them to get there. Again, you can't be results oriented. Like, you can't make your decisions based on results, and you can't draw your conclusions based on results. Like, the math is the math, and we can't outrun it, because the law of large numbers is going to make outrunning it impossible. I defied probability on Saturday by winning 5 straight, but none of them were correlated. And I can't defy probability forever. That's the problem with that. That's the problem. All right. Need a little nicotine. Get the day going. Elukmi. 3 L's, 2 E's. All right. Add Elukmi. Hey, VR. Any way you can beat the Spanish with all the 10s removed, counting card? Any strategy to beat? Oh, Spanish 21? Nah. All those side deviations, variations of blackjack is just a higher hold for the house. The very best game you could possibly play in other than the best bet you could make on the, if you have zero access to information, if you have zero ability to count cards, if you have nothing, if you're just coming off the street, never gambled before a day in your life, the very best bet that you could possibly make in the casino, the best bet possible, is odds on craps, on the pass line or the don't pass. Meaning, when you put your $10 on the pass line and the first rolls out and it's an 8, and they put the little disc on the 8, and that's the point. So you're either going to 7 out or hit the 8 and you make the point. Okay. You could bet odds behind that. It used to be up to 100x odds, up to 200x odds. Well, Archie the Greek changed that, because he beat up the Horseshoe and then beat up the Desert Inn, all in like a 24, 48-hour period, where he won 8 figures by pressing 100 times odds, because the odds behind the pass line are even money. That's the only bet in the whole casino that the house doesn't have a built-in edge. In everything else, in roulette, in any other crap bet, in every blackjack bet, in every slot machine, they have an edge. Already before you start, they have a built-in edge. Only one bet on the entire casino floor does the house not have an edge over you, and that's odds in craps. That's why you don't see them allowing 100 times odds anymore. There's some casinos, I'm sure, out there that'll still do it, that let you play $1 craps, $2 craps, but there ain't no high limit table where you can play $25, $100 pass lines and you're getting more than 5-time odds, 10-time odds. No way, 10-time odds. What am I thinking? That's a dream. You're getting more than 5x odds. But that 5x is even money. You versus the house. They don't have an edge on you. You don't have an edge on them, but they don't have an edge on you either. That's the most even bet odds. So, yeah, I'll stay away from everything else. After that, the lowest edge for you to overcome, something you could learn to beat, would be double deck blackjack. It used to be single deck blackjack, but they made blackjack pay 6 to 5, so that edge is too high, it becomes unbeatable, and they don't go deep enough in the deck. They know how many hands to deal depending on the amount of players, so that you never are able to count down a one deck shoe and beat them. So don't ever play single deck and think you have the edge. Double deck's the best, that you could bring it down to a little less than 0.20. So less than 0.5%, half of a half, less than 0.5%, to where they're expected to make, 50 cents. 20 cents out of every $100 you bet. Yeah, 20 cents out of every 100. In sports betting, it's $4.50 out of every 100. In double deck blackjack, if you play perfect basic, no card counting, no nothing, perfect basic in most high limit pits, you're going to be only giving up an edge of 0.20, 0.18920. Yeah, it's the best game. Otherwise, odds and craps. Okay. I gambling something I know very well, man. Okay. Zach Armstrong, ZAK Armstrong, 3116. Hey, Ace, what do you mean by on-screen markets, off-screen markets? Great question. On-screen, when we look at the odds screen, you go to wagertalk.com, you hit live odds. Those are on screens. Those are on-screen odds. Bet Online, Pinnacle, Chris, DraftKings, MGM, Caesars, all the books we know on screen, on odds screen. Okay. Which means if I'm a bookmaker on the strip, I have my casino, and let's say I'm at MGM. I look up, I see Caesars line. Okay, ours is the same. I see bet. Okay, we're lined up with the strip. We're good. Okay. Then there's off-screen books, the ones I use, what are credit accounts that are bookies around the country and around the world, that they tell you to go to betyanni.com. They go to betiwinmoney.com, betilovemoney.com, go to, I bet, I love, I win, whatever it is. You've gotten them before. We've all gotten those accounts. Those are off screen. Those aren't lighting up on any odds board. So we could bet into them and no one's seeing the line move. Eventually, though, it boils over because those guys that offer those accounts to us, they also have to move it. And a lot of times, obviously, they want to move it with off-screen accounts also so that the line don't move and they could get enough down, but you run out of outs. So then you have to move on screen. And that's where they see what you're betting and they adjust it, and then everyone copies it and follows. That's the difference between on-screen books, off-screen books. Off-screen, credit outs, bookies, the guy at the pizza store that gives you an account, the guy from the bar that gives you an account. Those are off-screen. On-screen, the ones we could use our credit cards for, the ones we could go deposit at the strip for, the ones that have, Jamie Foxx's on their commercials. Those are on-screen books. Those are on-screen. All right. Neil, I smashing and sharing daily. I know it's Neil Siri right away. SERIE 803. Thank you. Thank you for absorbing. Thank you for absorbing. I've heard it said that sometimes the best bet we can make is none at all, just to pass. With the sports industry's greed and set in baseball lines, besides passing, is there anything we can do? With your experience over the last 30 plus, you obviously have seen the slow yet gradual disappearance of dime lines. Any thoughts, please, and thanks. Great question. Great question. Dime lines were everywhere before. A 20-cent line was like only squares bet in the 20-cent lines. And what is a dime line? That means the take back is only 10 cents different than the lay. So minus 120 plus 110. minus 150, plus 140. That's a 10-cent line. A 20-cent line is minus 150, plus 130, minus 160, plus 140. That's a 20-cent spread. The spread is where the books make the difference. Why? Because you lose, you have to pay them 160. I win, they have to only give me 140. They make that $20 spread in between of us betting $300 or 260. You laid 160, I laid 100. So we combined, we laid 260, and they made $20 off of that 260. On that big of a spread. On a $10 spread, they made $10. See how that works? They make less. Because why? You laid 160. They lose. You gave them 160 when you lost. I get plus 150. They only got to give me 150. So they make that $10 spread in between. Here's how you offset that. If you guys remember yesterday, I showed you one of the accounts that I had where I lost that $12,000 parlay for 250. And I showed you their lines moving when I was betting it. If you looked at their spread, it's awful. They have 30-cent spread, 40-cent spreads on some games. For me, I don't care because I'm never going to take the bad number. I'm looking for a particular number. If that book has it, that's where I'm betting it. The way you beat that is by having multiple outs. Gives you the best possibility to offset that. I won't care what their spread is because I'm only looking to bet one side of it. So if I'm looking at plus 120 and I need plus 120 and at plus 120, I'm plus EV, then I don't care if their minus is 160, if it's a 40-cent spread. Because I'm only looking for that 120 side of it, of the equation. I'm not looking to lay the favor. I'm looking to take the dog. And 120 is what I'm looking at. They have it. I'm good. Who cares about their spread? That's where that comes in. Now, scalping, middling, it becomes a lot harder, almost impossible. That's what that makes hard to do, those bigger spreads. But that's how you offset it, by having more outs so that you could find numbers and not care about this. You're not forced to bet into that one book with the bad spread only. You have a lot of different books. Even if they have bad spreads, you're going to find your numbers. And the second part of your question actually was the first part about passing. That's the biggest advantage we have over the books, and most don't take advantage of it. They have to post a line for every bet. Every game. We don't have to bet it. If ever you're in a position where you're going back and forth, you're now guessing. You're now laying 11 to 10 to guess. And you're hoping to be the product of good luck, to be right guessing. I told my girl that. She was going back and forth. Ozdemir Walker, Ozdemir Walker, Ozdemir Walker. She's like, what should I do? What do I do? I said, you do nothing. You cross that fight completely off your list. Why? Because you put yourself in a no-win situation. You bet Ozdemir, you're like, damn, why? I did like Walker. You bet Walker, I did like, you can't win. You're guessing. You're now betting from the absolute position of weakness, which is rolling the dice. And if I'm going to roll the dice, I want better than laying 11 to 10. Remember, I want mega bucks money. If I'm going to be gambling, I don't want laying 11 to 10. If I'm going to take the worst of it, give me a score. Give me a roulette table. Give me 35 to 1 if I'm willing to take the worst of it. Not in sports. So that, to me, is where I think you got to what matters most. Okay. You just pass. Like, again, that's our biggest strength. Dude, I don't have to bet today. We won last week. Why do I got to bet today if I don't love anything? I'll go wait till there's a better bet coming up. I don't need action. Dude, I got enough shit to do during the day. I don't. You shouldn't need it. We all have so many responsibilities. If there's no value, there ain't no value. Why do I want to risk my money? It's fine sitting right where it is in my pocket. I don't need it. I don't need to put it up. It's safe and count right here, right here. Stay here, buddy. Stay here. I ain't gambling that shit. All right, next. Not me again. 5647. I'm looking at minus 175 for Potapova. Still worth it? Now, again, everyone's risk tolerance. Oh, Bitcoin. Wow, you're going to get the 59,000 today, aren't you? You're going to break 60,000 today, aren't you? Oh, Lord. Listen, at minus 175, it's 63.5% break even. Remember, We laid 61.5% break even. So you're taking 2%. You're already giving up 2%. So if our edge was 4%, half of it's gone. So if I had a 3% play, the most I would bet now is 1.5% on Potapova. That's how I would approach it. Like, you missed the number, wait for a better bet, or minimize your risk, because you're going further out on the risk curve and you're not getting a better return for it. Now, if you were laying 175 and getting back 120, it's a different story. But getting that same 100 that you could have laid 164 when we bet it, you now got to acknowledge you're not, some of the value, if not most of it's been extracted, is gone. Now you're hoping to be the product of good luck. Ace cashes, I cash with them, but not because I placed a good bet, because I was the product of good luck. That's what we don't want. We don't want to try. We don't want to get lucky. We want to place good bets. And in that case with Potapova, I told you what I would do. If I have a 3% play, which is 0.75 of that, which is, 0.25, which means 0.75 of my bankroll, it would be simple. It wouldn't be a 3% play. It would be a 1% play, which I would put 0.25. That's it. 1.5 at the most. You know what I mean? So maybe 0.30 of bankroll for sure, because I lost some of the value. All right. At Krishaw 4072. Hey, Ace, question. In the year you weren't profitable, was it just the math, or was it something different that you did behavior? Just curious. There was a learning in that year. Nothing to learn, except when not 100% committed, you either have to set up tighter parameters so that you're extremely selective, or you just pass. Because I went into October #1 in profit. I believe was even in November, I was still top 3 or 5 at the worst. It all happened in that bad dump in like a 6-week period. That just happened to be the end of the year. Like, if it happened a month sooner, I'm sure I would have ended the year up, because we came out in January and crushed it. It was timing more than anything else. But I do have to have a beginning and an end to keep score, or it wouldn't be fair to you guys. I would just say I'm up, because I am up since I got to Wager Talk. So I would just say, yeah, I'm up. I'm up since 2017. I'm up this much since 2017. Instead, I keep score to help you understand that there will be losing weeks, months, and even a year or years involved along your sports betting journey. Just like there's losing years in the stock market, in any investment, in real estate. You have to know that going in. If you're not prepared for that, it's not for you. Save your money, stick it in the bank, stick it under your mattress, but it's not for you if you're not prepared to take losses. And that's all that happened there. And it was a time, I'm not making excuses, but I explained it multiple times before. It was a time in my life where I was extremely busy with a lot of other things. And I had enough experience to realize that you can't be less than optimum and win at this. There's no way. There's a reason less than 0.5% actually make money doing this. And I found that out over that 6 to 8 week period. Actually, I was reminded of it. I knew it before, but I got reminded of it. Let's put it that way. And my goal is always correct, not repeat, correct, not repeat, correct, not repeat. So hopefully we don't repeat that and we correct instead. All right. Recreational player 1119. Love it, my man. VR with a 10K bankroll. My 1% bet is 100. What unit size would you use with correlated dog and under parlays? Each parlay probably wins 30% of the time. Honestly, I would go, let me do it right now. Third time. So you're going to lose 2 out of 3. I would do $25 parlays. I would do $25 parlays. I would be selective and just say that bankroll is just for those. I'm not handicapping it. I'm going to trust that when I place 100 of these, I should be up a little or a lot. When I place 200 of these, I should be up a lot more than that. That's how I would approach it. And that's why I would go small to give it time to play out. Because between now and October, when the playoffs come, you're going to have ample opportunities. We have all of July's not even here. You have all of August. There's games every day. You will find plenty of opportunities. So tighten your parameters, tighten them up. Look for sevens, 7.5s at the worst. Look for under steam and hit those babies up for 25, like 1% plays, or even half of that if you really want to be conservative. Because again, you're just trying to grind. You're just trying to earn off your capital while it's sitting there by taking advantage of this in a mistaken payout. That's what I did with the teasers. And the mistake I made, that's why I'm telling you to go real small, is that I didn't. That I was betting them a little bigger. And what I found out was I would lose like 5 straight weeks. And then that 1 week is where I would hit every teaser. So I like out of this, let's say a 18-week NFL season, maybe 3 of those we won. But maybe four we won. 4 we crushed, 2 or 3 break evens, but the rest we lost. We just lost everything. Like United didn't hit the teasers. But those weeks that it did win was more than enough to offset everything and turn a profit. Luckily, I was well enough funded and had the ability to replenish that it didn't hurt me. But had I not, it would have hurt me. That's why I urge you to go small and let it play out. Watch it play out. And again, you could redo it next year a little bigger, what you're comfortable, what you see. Obviously, you're smart. You're a sharp dude that sees this. And you're already doing it the right way with your 10-dime bankroll. So you're so far ahead of where I was, definitely in your sports betting journey to being a plus EV guy and knowing it, so that you're confidently putting your capital at work here. I love it. Finally, last but not least, Tank Night Riders. I went long again, 50 minutes. These are like hour shows, but it's the questions, and the questions are what matters most to me. That's why I spend the most time on questions and education and only a minute of giving you the free picks. And from all the segments and shows that I've done, what I handicap, what I look for, and who I work with. So if you ever get problems with bookies closing or restricting your accounts for being too successful, I'm from the UK. I've had accounts closed after the winning streak. Can then only place a ridiculously small amount. Not sure if it's different in the US. Yes, 100%. That's the story of my life. It's the story of my life. That once you become profitable, how do you get down? Like I said, if I could only play black, if I could wake up, have my morning coffee with my girl, enjoy the Vegas early, then drive over to the casino around 10 a.m., play blackjack till about 3 or 4, to where I put 5-6 hours in, and I make about 1,000 bets, and I do that 5 days a week. So I make 20,000 bets a month, right? Over 200,000 bets a year, to where I know there's no way I'm going to be so far ahead. That's all I would do. I wouldn't bet sports. I wouldn't invest in probably anything. I would use all the capital I could to put in work in blackjack. So I could be betting 10,000 a hand, 20,000 a hand later. I would put all of it in there because I know what my edge is. Like I know with certainty. And as long as my risk of ruin was low, I would, like I said, I would take everything. I would sell everything I have, take all that capital and do nothing but play blackjack with it. Because that would give me my greatest edge, where I could just print money every day. Print. And I'm in full control of it. But yeah, that's the problem. Unlike poker, because in poker, if you're great at it, you get on Card Player Magazine, you get on ESPN, you get endorsements, you get wealthy, because you're not playing against the casino. That's the only reason. You're taking other people's money, and the house just takes a piece of the pot. So they don't give a shit who keeps winning. Sports betting's different. Blackjack's different. You're taking their money is how they look at it. Even though in sports, there's someone on the other side of the trade, they still believe you're eating into their profits by being a plus TV sports bettor. So yeah, I run that into that all the time. I ran into it with the legit books, the on-screen shops, which is why I probably have cash now in 1 or 2 books out here that I have cash in. Because I hate leaving cash in a non-interest bearing account. Yeah, I can get 5.5% at Coinbase just sitting in USDC. Why do I leave it at MGM or at Caesars? That's just crazy. So that's why I don't like doing it. But the second reason is with those, they kick you out right away. You beat 2 or 3 line moves, it's over. It's over. You're limited to $3.84. So it's not even worth my time to drive down there, deposit money, and get kicked out 2 days later. I know the stuff that I'm going to be betting with them. So yeah, we have the same problems here. And more importantly, you then have the same problem with credit guys, with bookies. With them guys, the bigger problem is when they cut you off, are they going to pay me? With the casino, at least when they kick me out, they give me my money back. So I sleep comfortable. With the bookie, it's a little different. When I wake up Mondays and I see my account's been disabled, I worry until I speak to him and we talk when we're going to settle, because I don't know if I'm getting paid. That's the shit you run into with bookies. So I went long again, but I love you guys for it. I hope people do stick around. Please let me know in the comments if I'm going too long. Please, 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 because I want this to be successful. Like I said, I want to be able to do this during football season where there's just so much misinformation out there, and I could really guide you with two-team teasers, with those odds that we're going to exploit, with a lot that I've learned over the years when it comes to the NFL and just college football in general and all that goes on during those months, because people are so engaged in betting that there's so many other markets that we'll be exploiting. So hopefully you guys continue to help me grow, and it makes sense for me to continue doing this because I do enjoy it. And the guys that are here, I love that you're absorbing it. I love that you're challenging a lot of my notions. That way you should be. You shouldn't just be accepting what I say. Don't just accept what I say as gospel. Challenge it, question it, ask about it, make me prove it to you, have me document it, verify it. Don't just take what I'm telling you as fact. Like, ask me, how could I verify this, Ace? Okay, you tell me that's what it is, but how could I know? And I'll try to point you in the right direction. That's all I could do. I love you guys. Have a great day. Like I said, under Cleveland, Baltimore, Milwaukee money game and first 5. I also like the Angels, as I said, game first 5 as well. God bless. Oh, I think I got some tennis real fast. Let me give you the tennis that's still pending. I don't know if these had gone off. We got Gail Monfils. Oh, these are on progress. Sorry, guys. Sorry. No. They're on progress. Sorry. And ungraded. My bad. Okay. Don't want to waste your time. Have a great day. Be back on Tuesday.